Allison, thanks so much for joining me at the Brand Marketing Academy today.
Thanks. This is great. So good to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. So today we've been talking a lot about the future of talent and about mentorship. So maybe let's start at the beginning and maybe talk about what was your earliest example of mentorship and what did it teach you?
So I've been really fortunate in my career across a lot of great companies to have a lot of great mentors along the way. And I think what I would say it taught me was confidence to not just be myself, but bring my ideas and speak up in different settings. And as we're going through this, I'm actually thinking about a very early manager who I have since looked to as a mentor since then, who I feel like brought me out of my shell in my early days at L'Oreal and who I've kept in touch with all this time. And I just think of, when I think of mentors in my own career, I've really thought of people who have showed me how to bring out the best in me.
That's wonderful. Absolutely. So now that you have sort of risen through the ranks and are a leader, what do you look for when you or are mentoring someone? What sort of talent are you looking out for?
I love curiosity and I think young talent who is open to sharing their perspective on
Mhm.
things, because what I've found and talked a little bit inside with some people is, every next cohort of young leaders brings their own view of the world and the things that they grew up with. And I was just saying inside, I grew up in the days of, we were on Facebook before our executive leadership knew what Facebook was. So I got to be in the group that was like, "Hi, can you show me what social media is and why this is important?" And so that was a point in time, but now the young leaders of tomorrow are coming at things with a completely different perspective. So I love a junior marketer who's going to share that and is going to tell me what I should be checking out, thinking about, and really how they are seeing the world right now.
Yes, I love that you're sort of framing mentees having an opportunity to even teach their mentors sometimes. And curiosity is huge, especially as the world is changing so quickly. Technology is moving so fast. How do you encourage your mentees to sort of step up to the challenge and be curious? And what areas do you, advise them maybe to start digging into?
So I would say right now, I can't have a single conversation, especially in something like this, without
Yeah,
saying AI.
I was
AI
waiting
is
for it to
coming.
come up.
Yeah. How many minutes in are we? Here comes
Mhm.
AI.
Mhm.
But this is an area that's a really unique opportunity because we're all learning it together. So I think for my mentees and young talent, how you're using it, and then also if you can find the capacity to learn how AI is going to be changing marketing. I'm trying to figure that out too right now. And the way I'm approaching it is from an organizational perspective. How does my team need to be set up? What education does the org need? Are we ready? What do we need to do to get more ready? But I think as a young marketer, you're going to be much better at how it's going to change your job, how it's going to help you in your day to day. And I want to hear about that too. So what I'm actually inside talking with everyone about is like, I do really think this is a really relevant time to what social media was when I was a junior marketer, AI is now. And if that's what you could help me learn, I would love to hear. And that would bring so much value to the team.
That's a great sort of parallel there in comparison. Have you had any of your team members recently, maybe someone more junior, bring a great idea to you?
So something that we were actually just talking about, my team that's here today, we had an event in Washington, D.C. a few weeks ago. We were unveiling a program called Solve for Tomorrow. We had the finalists come to D.C. And after the finalists were announced, the whole team went out to dinner and a brainstorm happened at the end of the table.
Oh,
That
that's
was just like
amazing.
golden because the social team was throwing out idea after idea after idea. And so what we're actually talking about now is like, you guys are full of amazing ideas. What are the blockers that are keeping these ideas from happening? Like, how can I help? Is it new processes? Is it new ways of working? Like, what can I do to make a better runway for a lot of these great ideas to come to life? Because I think there are amazing creative ideas that are happening all the time.
Mm.
Making them happen is not from just like bringing them to life, filming and
Yes.
posting and all of that, but actually clearing the path for ideas to happen is something that I can help with. So help me help you kind of thing.
Yes, and in terms of bringing it to life, it doesn't come to life in just one silo anymore. It's not just the social idea that stays in
Mhm.
social. So, how do you encourage someone to sort of expand their skill set beyond, just where they go in deep and they're a subject matter expert?
We were talking a lot about teams talking to other teams, and also with some of the other mentors who are here, like we still all believe in the power of what happens around, whether or not it's a real water cooler. It's probably not an actual water cooler, maybe it's the coffee bar, but like the ideas that happen when you start reaching out and talking to other teams. So we've had a lot of conversations about finding peer buddies in other parts of the org, or really just finding ways to talk to other functions, because that's actually how some of this real magic starts to happen. Is it's all going to live in a silo if we're just heads down in our own roles, but there's so much magic that happens organically just talking to other teams. I think it seems so simple, but it's hard because everybody has big demands. Everybody has a lot on them. So finding the time to do that it's actually going to pay off.
Yeah. And are you finding ways to do that with your team?
Within our team, yes, there's things that are within our control. We are trying to mix things up, but honestly, like days like these also make you reflect and say, am I doing enough? How can I do more? So I think it's learning to be had as a mentor as well. So I did actually say to my mentees, how can I help you better? And they said,
Oh, that's
we're
great.
going to
It's
come back
all
to you.
happening in real time.
It's all happening. Yes, that's the purpose of, I guess, getting these groups together.
Yeah. And days like these, moments like these, where you get to sort of break out of your usual day to day and your comfort zone and meet people from across different organizations, sometimes can be like the accelerant or the catalyst you need to grow in your career. Is there a moment that stands out as sort of one of those defining moments that feel like you felt like kickstarted everything for you?
I think there are a number of moments. Some of the conversations I was having were actually around changing companies, because I learned a lot when I made a pretty significant change. So the big changes in my career, Unilever to L'Oreal, L'Oreal to Google, Google to Samsung, and each of those came with a pretty different role, a pretty different company culture and way of doing things. And I picked up as I've gone on the need to figure out the culture and the ways of working very quickly within an
Yes.
organization. So not one single moment, but a lot of individual moments that have added to learnings as I go, to say, you figure out what you need to know, and then you figure out how, your strengths are they're intrinsic. You grow and you build on them in time, but hopefully you keep what is true to you and your strengths, but then you figure out how to fit those within your organization so that the magic happens when those things are brought together.
Yes. And each of those brands, I mean, major iconic brands with very, very different types of, cultures and ways of working. How did you evaluate, like, what is this the right opportunity for me?
So in each of them, the opportunity itself has been, a lot of people have said this, but I've taken it to heart. You want the role that you're running to. You want to be
Yes.
really excited. And I think I've been running two roles for different reasons. But each one has been not just an amazing company, but the role itself has been something that got me really excited and different along the way. So could have been stepping into a brand manager role at Google. It was a complete zig and a zigzag career, or however you want to call it, whereby we were doing research using YouTube data and helping brands activate these to make better YouTube ads, which was something that the work and Google were a little bit exciting to learn about. The data I was really excited about at the time. And then all of it stays with you and, of course, builds as you go. But when I've made a decision to make a change, it's been because I'm really excited about what that next role is.
That's a good sort of North Star to have as you're making decisions throughout your career. And the learning the different cultures is such an important skill, and I think hard to teach. But if you could give advice to someone who's sort of moving to a new company about how they get entrenched really quickly, what would that be?
I would say there's definitely a listening, observing, learning period that has to happen. And it behooves you to come into a place and listen and learn before you start to try to make drastic changes, or even try to force little changes. Figure out why they do the things they do, how things get done productively, and then you can figure out your own systems within that. Because I think we can influence culture, we can make our workplaces better, but there is always something there that you also need to find your way to fit into. So I think all new company changes start with learning the who, the how, the what. I think it's all very important.
And I think that's great advice, just even beyond that use case, is to just come in, listen, learn, and then make the most informed decision. Well, thank you so much for sitting down
Thank
today and for
you.
spending time with all of our mentees.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.